Welcome back to another episode 94 of the Spittin Hoops podcast. We're back after an extended break for us. We had some technical difficulties, which meant that we couldn't get the 93rd podcast up till relatively recently. But we're back after the Christmas break to summarize to summarize some NBA basketball, to summarize some trades that are happening. But really getting back in the swing of it right before the All-Star break. Trade deadline is going to heat up in a few weeks, honestly. And feeling good. Anthony, how are you feeling? I feel like you got to be feeling good with the way the Celtics are playing.
Oh man, I'm feeling great. For those who are watching the podcast, you can see that I got my Celtics jersey on, my Tatum jersey on, not only because the Pats are going to play tonight, and let's hope that things go well for Pats Nation, but according to Chris Mannix, who's he's been in the NBA world for a while, Tatum is really pushing to come back. So I think a couple of games against the Nuggets and Spurs of late, where the Celtics lost close, have shown that even though we're looking real good, won't hurt to have top seven, top eight guy come back. So feeling real good about the Celtics, man.
Do you think this Tatum injury was just like the MJ suspension? Like when they suspended him for like the Celtics were too good, so they had to suspend Tatum and they had to like fabricate an injury.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he got hurt.
Because I'd seen him at Atlantic City a few times over the last few years, so I feel like maybe no, but
I'm
on an actual note, very nice to see that. Very happy to see that, especially with the way the Celtics are playing. I mean, we'll get into this. They lost obviously Giroux and Porzingis, and haven't missed a beat. Also without Tatum, so with Tatum coming back, that would be fascinating. I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's going to be great. They're slamming their wins, and the East is so wide open that truly this question of who's going to win will not be answered until the end of the year.
Yeah, 100%. And so for this podcast, I guess we didn't talk about how we're going to do this podcast. As we get back into this, we're going to rank our top 50 players in the NBA right now. We'll get into kind of the injury designations and who we're going to rank and who we're not going to rank as we go. Honestly, I think it's kind of debatable who you would and wouldn't rank on a list like that, given the injuries happening right now. But first, we do have to talk about a trade that happened to a team very near and dear to my heart as a
Mhm.
former Wizards season ticket holder. Trae Young comes over from the Atlanta Hawks in exchange for CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert. Um, I think this is a fascinating trade. I think it's also this trade is fascinating to me because I think it's an indicator of where trades are going, where the salary that you make is almost the value that you have. And it's been like this for a little bit, but it's really gonna in the era of the aprons, it's really gonna always look like this moving forward. And to some people, it might feel like a lot for Trae Young. To some people, it might not feel like a lot for Trae Young. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of opinions on it. If I was a Wizards fan, I'd be happy. If I was a Hawks fan, I would not be happy. Anthony, how are you feeling?
I just always love seeing CJ McCollum be a part of the product of his own design. It just makes me happy every single day.
Just yeah, he's literally just a yeah. He literally has great value in the design that he created because you're not going to extend him for the money that he's currently getting paid. Like with that, isn't that crazy? Like he just got traded twice
Yeah.
in a year. I don't know.
It's great. But on the Trey note, I think this is great from the 30,000 foot lens. I think this is a win-win for both teams. I don't think the Hawks were wanting to continue on with Trey Young. If I had to guess, this is the best offer that they could have gotten. So why not get another veteran back in CJ McCollum? They have their core ready to go with the young guys. And maybe this opens up some cap space for them in the future. They still have, well, do they have picks? What's their pick situation?
I think they do still have picks. I think they owe the Spurs maybe one swap from the DeJounte trade, but I think that's about it. And then also Porzingis comes off the book this year if you don't want to re-sign him. So that's a lot of cap space that you could have. You could have up to like 20, 30 million in cap space theoretically for the Hawks this year. The way they just used their cap space was signing Nickeil Alexander-Walker, which was a great signing and
Amazing.
looks like he's going to be with them for a very, very long time. And maybe they feel confident that they can roll into FA and sign a Van Fleet for 30 mil or sign whoever, maybe a guard or a big or whoever they want to sign, and maybe they just feel confident with that. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, this is great. They get to reset their clock. So This feels like a sort of win for both from my perspective.
I agree. And I think a lot of people have made the point, and I do agree with this, that like, getting to this point is the problem. Getting to the point where you have to trade Trae Young for expiring contracts and Corey Kispert, who, by the way, Corey Kispert, quite a good player. We'll get to that. But you know, people were probably offering you a pick or two over the last 2 years. You didn't take a pick or two. You'd rather run the risk of like, having to do a trade like this, or, maybe Trae Young fits in your Jalen Johnson Porzingis system, and that ceiling is just way higher than what you could have done otherwise. So although like it does suck that they got to this point, I kind of understand the rationale through and through. Unless they got an offer of like 3, 4 first round picks, I probably wouldn't have traded Trae Young at any point in the last few years. And although you got to this point, had it had worked, the ceiling of this team was extremely high. It is
Mhm.
it is disappointing that Trae Young and Porzingis only played 3 games together. You know, with this Jalen Johnson etc. core, like if you would have liked to see that more, but it kind of is what it is. I kind of do feel the same way as you. Don't think it's that bad for the Hawks. And honestly, I think Corey Kispert is like a really good for a good team. Like he's going to sit in the corner. He's going to defend. He's longish. Um, all those Luke Kennard minutes, he's playing 30 minutes a game and he can't defend. Actually, he's playing relatively okay defense, honestly. But like, if you'd rather a Corey Kispert look than a Luke Kennard look or a Nikhil Alexander Walker look at times, you can go that way if you want.
Yeah, 100%. Really helps their wing depth. And yeah, it's solid. I mean, I don't think it really changes the fate of either of these teams long term, but
I will
exciting
say,
trade.
I will say on the Wizards angle, now that we've done the Hawks angle, I think this is actually a really fantastic trade for the Wizards. I think if you roll, they had 90 million in free agency this year. Are you getting a guy better than Trae Young for 50 million? I don't know.
Nah.
You're getting Zach,
Superstar Trae Young? I don't think so.
yeah, and even if it's a level under that, the ceiling of that player is so substantially higher than like a Zach LaVine type. And the other route you could go is like signing like a Van Fleet, overpaying for like a short contract of a Van Fleet type, but then you don't get the long-term reward potential of like Trae Young reaching a full ceiling, integrating well with this core. And then also they didn't extend Trae Young. Who knows? Maybe they just don't like the fit and he just walks this year. And actually, if that happens, you just created cap space by trading Corey Kispert. So it's kind of interesting. So I actually think for the Wizards, there's literally no downside. You basically just trade McCollum and Kispert, who's probably worth a protected first round pick for Trae. If you don't like the fit, he could literally just walk at the end of the year, and maybe he opts into his contract. Great, you have no long term like I don't know, you have no long term commitment to him at this point. The other side of it is I think if he extends, he'll extend for like 40 million or 30 million a year, not the full 50. And then you save then you still have 50 million in cap space to go get yourself iHeart or to go get yourself whoever. So anyways,
Right.
that's
Because
long spiel, but I really think it's a lot of flexibility here and there's basically no risk because you have no long-term commitments in.
are you hoping he plays? Are you gonna go see them play?
I want to go see his first game. I really want to go see. I can't tell you how much like people are talking about this. Like I haven't heard anyone talk about the Wizards ever. And I mean, you add a player with 5 million Instagram followers, like obviously
Yeah.
like as someone who talks basketball to people, like I'm gonna hear more about it, but yeah, like there's people I know that are not interested in basketball at all who are like, "Oh, I heard Trae Young is coming to the Wizards." So I was like, "Oh, like why do you know
Cool.
that?"
Yeah.
Like,
Who
why?
told you about that?
Yeah, who told you about that? So yeah, it's cool. I think it's great for the Wizards. They have more cap space to keep adding to this. Walk with me here. But if you have Trey Johnson and Trey Young with Bub
Mhm.
Carrington backing them up, you have your wing depth of like Koulibaly, Keyshawn George, whoever. You get iHeart, you get Sar in the front court, you get a backup big. That core is quite good, and that's not to mention the probable top 5 pick that they're about to add. So this team it's starting next year. I think they'll leave the depths of being the worst teams in the NBA like pretty quickly. And honestly, they've looked quite good over the last few weeks, actually.
They have been looking real good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really randomly. Like I probably
Yeah.
have no business looking this good. Like Trey Johnson is shooting like 35-foot threes, and that just creates so much spacing for guys like Keyshawn and Koulibaly, who probably shouldn't be creating anyways. But Bub's been playing better, but his struggles have meant that those guys have to create, and honestly, it's not been that bad. So, anyways, long story short, like the trade for the Wizards. Low risk, High reward.
Yeah, great start to the trade season. Let's
Yeah,
hope for some more.
I mean Trae Young. That is an elite all-star level player trade. So yeah. Also, I think Trae Young will be an all-star next year. I think he's gonna average like 25 and 10.
Dude, well, is that good enough for an all-star anymore?
I think it might be in the East. Actually, in the East with Hallie coming back, that would be kind of tough.
I mean, maybe.
Full season
This,
Tatum, Hallie coming back.
yeah, I mean, and this might be a good segue to
Our
our
top
next,
50.
our top
Absolutely.
50.
You want to take
So,
us into this? Yeah.
yes, sir. So, just as a heads up, I'll tell you who I have exempted from this top 50 list. I view this exercise as a this year, how are you playing? There's probably some grandfathering going on at some of these sections and maybe some projecting going on. But for the most part, this is trying to say how good have you been this year. Yeah. So I don't have Tatum on the list. I don't have Halliburton on the list. I don't have Dame on the list. And
Same.
maybe Embiid would or would have not have been on your list, but he just doesn't play enough for me. And Sabonis was another guy who we saw a few games of at the beginning of the year. So they're all off. You talked me into putting Reeves back on the list, so I do have Reeves.
But
Uh,
only
and
guy of only guy of that list that I ranked was Sabonis, and I can take him off my list. I'm cool with that.
all right. So to start, I have some tiers. So the first one is going to be the first tier is top six. This
Oh,
tier has not changed since our first time that we ranked our top 10 guys. So
okay.
I have reordered the players in the list because I had Wemby one last time we did this. I now have Jokic. I hope he comes back healthy, back at the top of the list based on how good he's been, playing better than he ever has. And yeah, so Jokic is my number one guy.
I agree. I don't think we need to spend that much time. I think for me, I think I ranked him number one preseason. I've had him number one for like years. Someone he would need to take a drastic step down, or like another player would have to show me a level of talent that I could not expect. I don't. Wemby's the only guy that I could foresee passing Jokic if Jokic remains at the peak of his powers.
Yeah, uh, I think it's well said. And get back soon.
Yeah,
He was leading the greatest offense of all time. I was seeing, and obviously with him not playing, that team has taken a major step down. But they're going to be an exciting force. Number two for me, I have SGA. I just think that the 20-point game streak, his consistency as a scorer, always seems level headed. Obviously, the Thunder have not been as dominant as they were at the beginning of the year, but I still think that he is the most, of all these top six guys, the most reliable, healthy, consistent, great scorer, best guard that we've seen in a damn long time.
I agree. And actually, that level of consistency from him and Jokic is why I personally put them in their own tier. I think I do. There needs to be like a leveling up that happens from the following guys for them to get into that tier for me, because the consistency on defense and offense from SGA and efficiency throughout a myriad of injuries, throughout a myriad of role players coming in, truly impressive. Jokic, same way. So that's personally like small thing is I'd put them in their own tier, but it's not the big
Sure.
deal.
Um, do you want to take three, or you want me to keep going with my?
Well, here I'll give you who I would put in my tier, and you could stop me where you'd put people in your tier because you said you had
Okay.
a top six tier. Number three,
Yeah.
I had Wemby third.
Okay. Yeah, we're on it.
And I think, we'll get to this, but I think Wemby's level of talent is as good as all the guys in this tier. And the thing is, he has a depth of talent, both defensively, offensively, he can shoot the ball, get in the paint, etc. The team building with him is so easy. You could drop him in any team. He'd be, a world beater completely. You drop him in that Rockets team with no point guard, wouldn't matter. Wemby would be unbelievable. So that's one thing that I think pushes him above the other guys in this group. Fourth, I got Giannis. I don't know if you agree there, but I think he's as good as ever. I think he's not had a drop off. The thing is, he does, his lack of diversifying his talents compared to like Wemby, for example, is why, it limits the potential team building you can have around him. But, with a relatively solid team that fits his strengths, he's still an A plus plus tier level player that can lead his team to a finals victory at any given year. But, I think the defense and offense that he presents has such a high ceiling compared to other guys in this tier, which is why I'd put him four. But
Mm.
his talents do constrain your ability to make a team a little bit, you know.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, just real quick on Wemby, saw it. If anybody watched him play against the Celtics last night, he kind of just closed out the Celtics. And there was one play that I loved where I forget who was passing. I think it was Harper was throwing him an alley oop, and he like jumped and then he caught it at like his chest level to like lay it up off the glass. He's just so good. I think I had him at one, but on top of the injuries over the season, just seeing him a little bit gangly at times. Like I think he still will get to a spot where he's more grounded, which I notice sometimes. Like when he's driving in the lane, it almost looks like he's like a deer learning how to walk. But teams are scared of him. He, to your point, he's totally in that upper echelon level of talent. Kind of knocked the Thunder off their, Golden State 73-9 chasing pace with a few of those games. So I'm with you on the
100%.
three. And then for me, if in similar ways to how you're describing, I have Curry. Um, just because I still think he's so friggin' good. He's not quite shooting 40% from the 3-point line this year, but he is dragging this team as much as he possibly can. It's just such a shame. But still putting up great numbers, still shooting the ball really efficiently, still closing out games.
I had
And
Curry fifth. Yeah, I
okay.
totally agree. Yeah, he had a bad year by his standards last year, and then follows it up with just a level that is like this year statistically is on the same level as 2022, 2023, 2018, 2019, 20 not 2017 is tough because he's like literally game breaking in
Yeah.
2017 that year. But like statistically is literally just like 3-point shot making, 3-point attempts, lack of turnovers, his field goal percentage overall is I think higher than it's been in many years actually. Um, and he's honestly like I'm just still very impressed. He is does not get picked on. This is a thing that I actually have a problem with some other guys in this top 10. Curry does not get picked on like to the same extent as he once did, and to the same extent that some other guys who are 3 to 4 inches taller than him in this list get picked on.
Hmm.
Um, and that's also really impressive to me. I mean, at this age, he should be a total defensive liability. He should not be able to move. And
Yeah.
yeah. And actually, so the him and Giannis, I struggle to rank against each other because, they have just these level of talents, these few talents that are just so exceptional.
Hmm.
They're unbelievable. And so they're a little bit different to rank than like, an SGA or even like an Ant Edwards, who we'll get to at some point here. You do have to value that high level of talent that they have in certain sectors.
Yeah. 100%. And to that exact reason, I do have Giannis fifth. Um, just because I mean he's Giannis. He's had a great season. He's actually shooting 41% from three. He's not a 3-point shooter,
Yeah.
but to your point, it's just so tough. He has outside of Kevin Porter Jr. and Ryan
Ryan
Rollins, like
Rollins.
what have been like the bright spots for this team.
Yeah.
So much like Curry, he is also like elevating this squad that does not have a lot of talent. So I had him fifth. I think if he was not hurt as much, or if we were just able to see what other pieces around him could be doing, that would highlight his abilities. For me, the last of the top six remains as the last of the top six. I think he's gone down for me a couple spots, but I have Luca, and this is just because he remains to be one of the best playmakers. And the Lakers are a top, what are they, top three seed in the West, top four seed in the West, largely off of his play. No, now they're down to top five. So not, and that's why I think he's dropped down a little bit. His shooting efficiency remains to be an issue. And I still think it'd be great to see him diversify his game a little bit more. I'd love to see him be able to move without the basketball a little bit better. And that still has not seemed to happen, even though I think it totally could. But he's an absolute stud, averaging 33, 8, and 8. He has to be in this tier.
Yeah, I had him sixth too, so totally agree with you. I think the comparisons to LeBron are actually totally incorrect at this point, and now I think the way I perceive him to be is almost like a Jokic type player, an offensive engine. He gets the ball every time down the court, But the deficiencies that Luka has, the high turnovers, the bad shooting, the bad defense, those Jokic has those deficiencies at times, but it's nowhere near the extent that Luka has. And the same way that we were talking about Steph and Giannis having these upper tier levels of talent, and having certain deficiencies, Luca has that upper tier level of like, give me the rock, James Harden level, give me the rock, I'm putting the ball in the hoop, whether it's with a pass or whether it's with a basket. Um, but honestly, his deficiencies at this point are substantial. Are his shooting and his
Mm.
turnovers are, and his defense, frankly, are levels worse than what they were when he made the finals. And that was when I was ranking him as a top three player, as an MVP favorite. And unless those get better, it's going to be hard for me to put him back up there. Um, so yeah, it's averaging like 5 turnovers a game this year. The shooting's substantial. The shooting is better than what it was last year, but it's still not to the NBA Finals level Luca that we saw. So
Yeah, we'll see if that comes back.
can I
Uh,
take number 7, because this is where I have a seventh guy in this tier.
okay.
So I think Anthony Edwards has to be in this tier. I think he is an unbelievable player. He's better than ever. He's shooting better than he was last year, where he was already the best 3-point shooter in the league. Steph is, back to Steph Curry, so he's the best 3-point shooter in the league, right? But Ant Edwards is just his shooting has made his ceiling limitless. The reason that I don't have him even higher is because the handle and his creation for others is still not at the place that I'd like it to be. Um, and yeah, if he could handle and create for others and operate within an offensive system around others a little bit better, I would almost rank him as high as SGA. But that's like his last thing that he's missing. I actually think this team is really not that good. I think he's carrying them, and I think he changed his game to provide a level of spacing that this team needed that is unbelievable. And yeah, I would love to see him anywhere else, actually. Because what if you just took this level of talent and gave him a playmaker next to him? Like, I don't know. And even if he just develops his playmaking like a little bit, he's going to be in his upper echelons. Like the efficiency that he shows is like really unbelievable. I can't wrap my head around it because he should not be this good of a 3-point shooter.
He has been shooting unbelievable, and he's cut down on his attempts.
Yeah.
I think that is one area that the Wolves need to look at for the trade deadline is a playmaker. Just Mike Conley is not that guy, and that's okay. He had a great career. He's just old.
But
Yeah.
But Ant would be better if Ant had the ability to get 5, 6 assists a game on low turnovers. That's where we could bump him up way higher. Like that is like the shooting being there means for me, because his defense is always there, he can finish whatever. The shooting being there means that his ceiling has become limitless. And like if he can start creating more, that's like really my only like gripe with him. If he can start creating more, I'm gonna start vaulting him. I'm gonna start vaulting him like crazy.
Yeah, he could be there. Actually, I don't have him at my 7, and I have him. So I mean, I do have a tier that's like separate. So the first tier was the MVP candidates, and I think you actually talked me to Jokic SGA being their own tier of like just like him, and then the next four being in their own sort of tier of like they could be him if not for injuries or certain limitations, whatever.
Like the
Um,
studs.
the
Those are
studs,
like
the
the
absolute
studs.
studs.
Yeah.
And then this next level is like I need to see a little bit more to take that next step, but essentially these guys are not surprised if they win the championship as the best player on their team. And so here we go. So my first guy, number 7, and I'll have Anthony Edwards soon, so don't worry. But this is my homerism coming in. But I have Jaylen Brown here. I think he's been absolutely unbelievable over the last like 20 games. I think his shooting has been unreal. I think the fact that his volume of shooting has gone up, yet he's still scoring to the extent that he is. Let's see. So he's averaging more points per
Electric.
game.
That's
Yeah,
electric, Anthony.
dude.
That's
Yeah, dude.
electric.
We're locked in, man. He's averaging more points per game than Anthony Edwards. Not saying that's the only stat that matters, but I think it's exceptional. His defense has been unreal. He's taken a team that, to your own point, before the season started, the Celtics were an under for 40 and a half wins, 41 and a half wins. And he's completely flipped that narrative. They're the number 2 seed. To be fair, worse win-loss record than the Timberwolves do. And maybe you can make an argument on different ends. They have different types of supporting casts. The Timberwolves have a much stronger front court, and the Celtics do not have that at all. But the Celtics have way better guard play than the Timberwolves do. Um, I'll just say that Anthony Edwards is my number 8 guy, but this is a bit of a tomato tomato. I think that Jaylen Brown has completely redefined the Celtics' expectations of how good they could be. But yeah, he's putting up 29, where is it? 29, 6, and 5 assists per game. So he's like really bringing out that playmaking ability. And he's shooting 37.5% from the 3-point line. So even that's been better. Yeah, I'm like shocked at how even the fact that I'm saying this because I didn't even have him on the top 10 like honorable mentions at the start of the year. But he's unreal. And so yeah, I have him as not only have we seen him be finals MVP, but I think that he's elevated his game to a whole new level. And this is the classic example of a guy that hits his late 20s and finds that he still has a new notch. And I don't think it's from athleticism or anything like that.
And to be fair, my reaction does not come from me not thinking Jaylen Brown is that good. Like I have him ninth. Like we'll get to this. Like
Sure.
I do have him ninth. I just personally, I think Ant is like a pedigree of scorer and team leader that Jaylen Brown is not, which I think we could see through the efficiency. But I will say it is hard to debate that Jaylen Brown has not proven that he can be because his the knock against Jaylen Brown this whole time, we had him we had him 12th, 13th, never seeing him lead a team. This year he's leading a team, they're top three in the East, and I'm watching Luka Garza play 25 minutes a game. Like so I am pro Jaylen Brown, but it was just cracking me up. The sorry, Ed Edwards is not in this tier for Jaylen Brown, my guy, with the Celtics jersey on. That was just cracking me up.
Yeah, I mean, no, Jaylen Brown's not in that tier either.
Yeah, that's
But
I honestly, I think we're gonna have to agree to disagree on that one. I do have a guy. Okay, I had Ant seventh. You had
yeah,
Jalen seventh.
yeah,
I have a different Jalen eighth. I have Jalen Brunson eighth
sure.
because I think he's a little the playoff level of heights that we've seen him are more qualified. The thing is,
Yeah.
for me also, he's in a separate tier from the other guys because the negatives are just too negative still.
Mm.
His offensive ceiling is unbelievable. I still don't think it's the same offensive ceiling as like the Lukas, the Stephs of the world. So can't put him up there, and he has those downsides. He has the defensive downsides, turnover downsides, etc. But yeah, all right, I can't get over this Jaylen Brown is better than Ant Edwards take. This is unbelievable. This is great.
You gotta have it.
This has to be a clip on the podcast. That was one of the fieriest. I love it. I love it though. This is one of the fieriest takes I've heard in a while. I'm gonna pedal that. I'm gonna pedal with that with my sources.
Let's go.
I'm gonna start using that as my own take, just to like singe some eyebrows.
Just to see, yeah.
Oh, that was Dude, that is the
Hey
best
man,
moment. That's the
and
best moment in Spittin Hoops history in a long time. That is, I don't know, this with the Celtics jersey on it, Jaylen Brown, it's just cracking me. So, on God, would you put Tatum top five if he was healthy?
oh, I mean the way he was playing was not very good last year. I mean, I do think he's better than Jaylen Brown, but I think
I'm,
he's right there with Luca. I think he's right
I'm
there with
rage.
Luca.
I'm also rage baiting you. I'm rage baiting. I would put
No, it's not
Tatum.
gonna work. I'm
I'd
too I'm
put
too
Tatum
ten
in the
toes
two.
down.
I
Yeah.
respect that. I respect. I would also put Tatum in the Luka tier. Um, but I think Tatum and Ant Edwards are actually great comps. I think
Yes.
they're the upsides and downsides at similar positions. I think they're very similar comps. Um, so I had Jalen Brunson eighth.
Eighth.
You had
Um,
Ant Edwards eighth, and then
eighth.
I had Jalen Brown ninth. We did our
Ninth.
spiel about Jalen
Yeah.
Brown. I Can I just say like two thumbs up. That was like I put in my notes. Like Jalen Brown, literally two thumbs up. Incredibly impressive. Like I
Yeah.
said earlier in the podcast, you lose three of your five starters. I'm watching Luka Garza. I'm watching, you know, key addition Anthony Simons get
Yeah.
10 minutes a game. And like, it's like, oh yeah, like the Celtics are now third in the East. And I'm like, What?
Like, what is going on,
Yeah,
bro?
so
Yeah,
so
dude.
I honestly, he's one of the players that has like really changed my perception of him this season. The
Yeah.
Finals MVP, frankly, did not.
No,
This season did.
no.
This
The
season,
Finals MVP felt like Spurs Kawhi Leonard or Warriors Iguodala a little
like,
bit. Like,
you're technically the best player,
yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, like you
Um,
said, would not put him over Tatum. You know,
no.
so
And you may have talked me back into him not being above Anthony Edwards, but I'm a rock this because I think a lot of what you're describing is who Anthony Edwards can be in the playoffs. And we'll see. We'll see
Well,
what
I think your
happens.
take is electric. I love Anthony. I really think, I would love to see him on another team because I have some takes about the rest of the T-Wolves team. And I actually think you might not see me rank a T-Wolf in the top.
Wow.
Or no, you'll see me rank one other one. You'll see me rank.
Gotta have one other. Yeah, okay. Um,
Barely, barely.
well, we'll get there.
We'll get there, but like
Uh,
that's like something. And to be fair, same can be said for Jaylen Brown with the current state of the Celtics. Um, you know,
there's
I
maybe
barely
maybe one
have
other.
one
Yeah.
Celtic in this top 50.
Yeah.
So
No, fair.
yeah, so
So let me give you my nine. Cade Cunningham.
mm,
So Cade Cunningham, this also has to go into you are leading the East by 4 games. So shout out to Cade Cunningham, averaging 27, 6, and 10, bro. And he really has to take a lot of the shot creation. I mean, he has a great roster, but I think he's the fact that they are far and away the number one seed is so impressive.
is
To
it that good of a roster? Like
uh,
it's like
I mean, it's not that I don't think it is that good. Duncan Robinson as your starting shooting guard, and then like Asar Thompson hasn't been as good as I think people thought he'd be. Jalen Duren is great. He's absolutely fantastic,
unbelievable. Yeah.
but he's absolutely crushing it. So I got to give him my number nine spot.
And so I had him 10th, and I think
Okay.
this is a great ranking. This is something I struggled kind of with the Jalen and Cade situation, and my 11th guy, who I'll get to,
Mm,
who I assume will be similar.
we might be
Um,
similar.
yeah. But these three, four guys all like are offensive engines. Is substantially better defensively than
Yeah.
these other guys we're talking about. But Cade is like substantially better defensively, Jalen Brunson, etc. But Cade lacking the efficiency that Brunson or like Donovan Mitchell, who I anticipate we'll talk about shortly, that is something that I'm struggling with. But also, it's hard not to also then give him the credit of like, damn, like if you were playing next to
Hmm.
McCall, OG Anunoby, and Karl Anthony Towns,
Right.
maybe it'd look even better, So that's something that I struggled with. I gave Jalen Brunson the benefit of the doubt off the back of his playoff performances,
Right.
but his position is not solidified, and he needs to take steps. That Knicks team should be the top team in the East. That would give me even push Jalen
Yeah.
Brunson into higher tiers for me. And
100%.
Cade, since he's the best team in the East and they've been dominant, this pushes him. This gives me I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt over his efficiency struggles because of the team
Totally.
record,
You got to wonder if they had like a Michael Porter Jr., for instance, type of guy on their team,
which
what that
would
would
be
do to his efficiency,
which would be great. Which
which
would
would
be
be
great
great.
fit.
Um, yeah, cool. Well, I have Jalen Brunson at 10, so that is right on line for similar reasons that you have. To your point, I think we just saw in the playoffs his like ability to will his teams to victory, especially against the Pistons, like we were just talking about. He took over in some of those games, just finds a way to put the ball in the hoop. When he's not finding ways to put the ball in the hoop, then we see a lot of problems and he can be picked on, even though he is like a strong dude.
100%.
Um,
Totally.
so we'll see what happens. 11. I wonder if we have the same guy. By the way, I have three more guys in this tier of like could see them being the best player on a chip team.
Oh, okay, okay.
Um,
I only had one more guy in this tier, and I
okay,
actually that's how I perceive this tier too. Was could be the best player on ship channel. I only had
okay,
one more
I
guy.
like that. Um, Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, that was who I
Okay,
had.
wow.
This is 11th. right?
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
11th. Wow, we have a lot of similarity.
yeah. Um,
Yeah, what you got for him?
similar to the guys above, very efficient teams on his back. I mean, last year the Cavs had a team. This year it's really Donnie's in Utah mode. And with Mobley, Mobley's not the caliber of player some of us hoped him to be, but Mobley's still playing great. But it's really them two carrying a team with kind of a struggling Darius Garland, and Jared Allen, who's quite good, but Jared Allen has limitations. Um, and I think like Donovan Mitchell is just really comparable to Cade and Brunson, and their teams are, the thing is, I can't give him the benefit of the doubt because he's not enjoying the level of, regular season success as, Detroit is, despite his team having a high level of talent. Although it is mismatched, it's hard to debate that the Cavs have, a high level of talent. So that's why I have him a little lower than the other guys, but I could see him being the best player on the chip team.
Yeah, 100%. And again, this is why he's in this echelon. Um, all right, yeah, I mean 35 and 5 on pretty good efficiency, like 39% from three.
And if the Pistons have like two more wins, they're tied with the Knicks. Maybe I feel differently about both Brunson and Mitchell. So that's why I think they deserve to be in the same tier.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And 12th, can I guess who you have at 12th? And
Sure.
Kevin Durant?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right,
yeah,
man.
that's why I told. I mean, better than ever on a team with no point guard. Survived injuries to key players like Şengün. It's a team that actually doesn't make sense for his abilities. That's kind of like what I think I've realized. Like I think Durant should basically be a power forward at this point. That is like on a team with like Miles Turner, like for example, like with
Hmm.
like a kind of defensive center, and instead he plays with like three guys at all times who can't really play offense, and he's fine. He puts up 35 and 5 on great efficiency, and it doesn't matter. And he plays good defense still. So
He does still play good defense. He's a great, I mean, he's just a three-level scorer. I saw this funny meme of 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 Katie. It was like, you need 15 points, Katie's going to get you 25. You need 25 points, Katie's going to get you 25. You need 35 points, Katie's going to get you
it's
25.
25, yeah.
And that is why, yeah,
And I think it's I was gonna say
yeah,
great reason why he's not higher,
exactly.
but it's why he 100% deserves to be in this tier.
Exactly.
The
You know what you're
ceiling,
going to get.
yeah, the
Yeah.
ceiling that I think, like, for example, like guy we talked about before, Luca and Edwards, Steph, those guys have levels of offensive ceilings that are, frankly, at this point, a little bit higher than KD, despite KD still being just a killer. I mean, if KD
Yeah.
puts up 60 on great efficiency, I'm never going to be surprised.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
we're talking, you know,
Yeah. And this
small
is, I
margin.
mean, he might be above a lot of the guys we've talked about for one game or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, if it's a game seven and it's the Rockets versus the Warriors like last year, this is a whole different story. So,
Yeah, I hope
yeah.
that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, right. Uh, all right. So you're in a new tier.
Right.
I'm still rounding out my tier, and
Okay.
this is a guy. I think this might be our first area of like large disagreement. But here's a guy that is in Katie kind of vibes in terms of like age and has really been kicking ass recently. And I think has looked, arguably the best that he's looked in a long, long time. And so a guy that I would not be surprised if he won a championship is number 13 on my list, Kawhi Leonard.
Oh wow. We're gonna be very far apart on this ranking.
So
I'm with it though. I'm with it.
we're going to be very far apart. I think he's the healthiest that he's been in a long time. Like he hasn't missed a lot of games of late. And like let's just go with his last 10 games. He's averaging 32 and a half. He's shooting 42% from three, shooting 53% from the field, 7 boards, 4 assists, 3 steals per game. Really just taking games over. He did. I mean, they have been winning relatively well recently since he came back. They were on a big winning streak and have continued to be in their winning ways. They beat the Pistons, not a fully healthy Pistons, but a Pistons team last night. And I think he just looks like he's in control. I mean, and he's also had games of late where he's had 45 points, 55 points, 41 points. So I think that he could totally, if he can stay healthy, I have him in this tier for a reason. Now he's at the bottom of the tier and he could fall out of this tier because of his health concerns. But when he's healthy, he's one of the best players in the league.
Fair enough. I mean, if we said Kawhi was going to be fully healthy and you put him in this tier, I wouldn't disagree. But we'll get to Kawhi later. But I got him a lot lower.
You got him a lot
A
lower. All right.
lot lower. But I think it comes from a place of, Kawhi last year played 30 games. The year before that, I played two playoff games. The year before that, I played two playoff games. Like, I more than ever, I think regular season performance is actually important in the depth of the NBA. I don't think you can win that NBA Finals coming out of the sixth seed. Like, I don't really think it's like probable that that occurs. And especially for a guy who needs rest and who probably needs home court advantage, and a guy like Kawhi in terms of health. Yeah, that's the reason I have him lower. But in terms of his performances at the moment, I mean, weeks ago we were talking about, the Clippers about to give the first overall pick to the Thunder, right? So,
Right.
off the back of his performances, we totally stopped those conversations, like completely.
And,
Um,
and and that's why I have him ranked so high. Um,
Fair enough.
and he's so high ranked because this is another guy that if he takes over a game six, game seven, or something like that to close out a series, I would not be surprised.
Fair enough.
Although he could have done it last year, and he wasn't very good. So
Yeah.
maybe we're wrong.
Um, I'll give you who I had at 13, and you can
All
tell
right,
me if you have him sooner rather than later. I'm
man,
kind of I'm
this
kind
is
of
about to be ugly.
curious.
Yeah,
Oh, Kawhi, don't worry. We'll get to him in a while on my list. Devin Booker is who I had 13. I know statistically he's not having a great year in terms of efficiency, but he's like really passing the eye test actually for me. More than ever, I'm very convinced that if he was is the second option on a team, that it would really, really work. I don't know really what happened with this KD Devin Booker situation, and I'm going to choose to turn the blind eye for both of them, for both their sakes, because I think it was just weird all around and they're playing with not a great team. But for him, I mean, he's shooting less threes than ever. He's, but he's probably playing better defense than ever. And really, it's taken a year, but it feels like he's playing a lot more similarly than to Olympics Devin Booker than he is to, scoring 70 points in a game, Devin Booker. And I actually think it's resulted in a team that shouldn't be this good, completely overperforming. I mean, this Suns are playing with a cast of characters and they've really hung their hat on actually amazing perimeter defense rather than anything else. And I think Devin Booker plays a really big part in that while carrying a really big offensive burden that he's decided to translate that into like mid-range game, which I think has been really impressive. Like that flexibility is really impressive to me. So I have him 13th. I think it's probably at the highest I would rank him, and I wouldn't really expect like he's in the next tier, right? Like for me, I wouldn't expect Devin Booker right now to be the best player on championship team. Um, but I'm really impressed by him. Him and Jaylen Brown for me are really interesting.
mm,
Like if Devin Booker continued on if Devin Booker like became this type of player and just upped his efficiency and stayed like that, I think it would really be interesting for the back half of his career. I don't know.
yeah. I think he's a very I think he's probably in our aesthetically pleasing players to watch
Mhm.
draft that we did a while ago. I forget who drafted him. Um, I mean he's in this next tier for me. I don't have him at 14. I have him at 19, but this is where I start like just struggling
Shoo.
to rank guys. So I could easily be convinced, especially if they start
Oh,
winning more.
and
Yeah.
and there's some people that will get to like Maxi. Like for example, if you put Maxi over Devin Booker, I might fight you. You
Well,
know.
that's great because I did, and he's number
Yeah.
14.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
yeah,
Yeah.
perfect segue. So
Yeah.
Maxi, I had him in my top 10 at the beginning of the year, and that was another take that you, I think, thought was a bit rambunctious. But yeah, he's averaging 31, third in the league, 7 assists, shooting great, 40% from the 3-point line.
Weird
Um,
team. Weird team
weird
doesn't matter.
weird team. Yeah, but like Paul George is like, is he okay? Is he healthy at all? And Embiid kind of in, kind of out. He's him and BJ Edgecombe. I think that they can totally be the future for the Sixers. This is going to be super fun for them.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're and he's clutch. He just always seems confident with the ball in his hands, and they look all right. I mean, they're fifth in the East. So Yeah, that's why I have it 14th.
Yeah, I will we'll get to my 14th slot, but I had him 15th. A lot of the
Okay.
same reasons. High end offensive ceiling. I think his limitations at this point are still like a little too um you know, he does have some limitations that hurt, like both defensively and in terms of his offensive ceiling compared to some of the other guys. Like as good as he is offensively, like I haven't seen playoff performances like Jalen Brunson put up from Tyrese Maxey, for example, which is the last thing he's missing to jump another tier.
Right.
Um, but I have Shengun 14th.
Yeah.
Um, I think, yeah, we had a meme in our friend group. If you remember, like one of our friends said Shengun was going to be a had the talent to be a top 10 player, and I was a part of a group who memed him for that. I was like, dude,
Hmm.
you say anyone can has the talent of a top 10 player. Frankly, totally does. I was totally wrong on that. I'm 14th. He's passing better than ever. He's like 7 assists a game, despite some
Yeah.
of the time missed. De facto point guard for them offensively. Um, and it's like a weird offensive configuration, and he's still, scoring like he normally does. The efficiency, if it was higher and if the defense was a little bit better, I'd start vaulting him, and
Yeah.
that's really what's limiting him right now. But totally a ceiling there. I also think he could put up, he has such a weird pace of play, and that really fits the playoffs, and I think he can continue to ascend in the playoffs, and yeah, I don't think he has the ceiling. Like Maxi could put up 55 in a playoff game. I don't know if Shengun could, but
Hmm.
I think Shengun has other upsides of him that make him a little bit more consistently a
Yeah.
positive. But
Totally.
it's tough.
And that's perfect. I have Shingun at 15. So we just
Perfect.
flip-flopped.
Okay.
Just continuing in pretty good lockstep here. Yeah, 22, 9, and 7. At times, like being chosen as like the guy to close out games for the Rockets. I hope he gets back healthy soon for everybody and for Max's fantasy basketball hopes.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I think he might not put up 55, but he could put up a husky 35, you know?
Yeah, and it's gonna be 35, but and he's only missed like 6 shots.
Right.
Because he doesn't shoot
Yeah.
a ton.
He doesn't shoot a
Um,
ton. When yeah, there are a couple games where he gets hot from three, so he has that ability. He could keep getting there, and I think a lot of his defensive abilities will continue as his just feel for the game gets better.
And him and Jokic have a similar thing going on where they're almost too high IQ to be bad defenders. I think Şengün struggled a little bit early in his career body type wise to be a okay defender, but at this point I have no worries about him defensively. He's like
Mhm.
he has good footwork, he's pretty strong. Um and they have the high flyers, they have the high flyers like Jabari. Those type. Yeah, the interior defense of the Rockets is unbelievable. Like
Yeah, it
but
is
yeah,
unreal.
it's
Yeah,
yeah. Um
yeah.
16? Oh
And
yeah, sorry.
real quick, last point. He's only 23.
Yeah,
This is awesome. It's just great
unbelievable.
how much young talent, and we'll talk more about this, I'm sure. But like, there's a lot of coming a changing of the guard here. Even though, ironically, we have talked about a lot of guys that are on the north side of 28 years old, but it's I think that might change
But like
soon.
Maxi Şengün, now we're
Mhm.
getting to it. Now
Yeah,
these are the guys who will be in the top 10 within 2, 3 years.
right. So yeah, who do you have at 16?
16, I had Jamal Murray, actually. I
Okay.
I'm really impressed by him. I think this Nuggets team as a whole, the pieces next to Jamal and Jokic this season, I've not been impressed by. Brown's been hurt, Aaron Gordon's been hurt.
Yep.
Cam Johnson hurt, but was also bad. Was just straight up bad when he played. And I think Jamal Murray has helped them. I wouldn't say they haven't missed a beat, but they're still. For every game that they lose, they win 2 games. So like, and this is with all the negatives. This is with a more competitive West than ever. And I think I have to give Jamal Murray credit. I kind of think he should be an all-star this year. And yeah, so
Yeah. One of the top three best players to never be an all-star might have his name crossed off that list for sure.
well, it should end. Yeah.
It should end.
I mean, he's shooting 45% from three on like
Yeah.
27 a game. Like, yeah, you're an all-star, bro. Yeah, and it's Jokic is hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And I think the win against Boston was huge. Like just to keep that. I mean, 22, 17 assists and 8 boards in that game.
He's averaging 8 assists a game this year. He's averaging 5 boards a game this year. I think both of those would be career highs. I mean, he's also a guy like if he's always been good, and the
Hmm.
level of talent that we're seeing right now has just been playoff Jamal Murray. But seeing this over the course of a regular season has been really jarring. And if he can pull this off, I mean, this is really impressive. Like I feel comfortable ranking him here at 16.
Yeah. So this tier that for me started with Maxey at 14 actually
Mhm.
closes with Jamal Murray at 22.
Okay.
And this is like the second best player on a championship team tier for me. This is just how I'm labeling it. And again,
Yeah, that's how I label it too. But I had yeah, that I had that end. This tier started after KD for me.
right, and this for
Yeah.
you start with Booker, and I have Booker in this tier too.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, 25, 5 and 7, great shooting. Now he has to carry this team, and if they can be 500 with the cast that they have around them, with the injury issues that they've had with Cam Johnson not being as good as people hoped he was going to be, I 100% think that he could be higher up on this list. But yeah, he's balling. Um, I have a different guy for my 16. And again, based on this year, this is based on this year. So we have another young cat in the list, but Jalen Johnson. Maybe it's too early to say crown this guy, but then you just see his stat line every single night, and it's just unreal. But he's averaging like 24, 8 assists, 9 rebounds, and putting up triple doubles like crazy, shooting the ball really, really well. Um, yeah, like shooting the ball 37% from three, 52% from the field. He looks good. And it sort of came out of nowhere, but at the same time, not really.
Yeah,
So
he's stunning. He's stunning to watch.
yeah.
Is I don't know how to rank him because I don't know how the Hawks struggles are really correlated to him with how much of a jump he's taken. And I ranked him 17th. So you ranked him 16th, right? Um
Yeah.
I I wanted to rank him substantially higher. If someone wanted to put him in the Tyrese Maxey type breaths, that's like I'd feel comfortable with that too. I
Yeah.
just haven't seen like playoff performances from him yet, and I
Right.
also the Hawks have as a whole kind of struggled this year, so that's kind of
Hmm.
why I don't put him higher. But I think this is about as low as you can get with him. I know this is within tier, and I would also put him within a tier of like this like 15, this like 12, 20-ish range or whatever. Um, but I think this is also about the lowest you can get with him.
Yeah. And he's had some injury history. We haven't really seen him in the playoffs, and but he's just so good that his floor looks unbelievable.
Yeah,
I think he just has his handprints all over the game.
yeah.
All right, so he's your 17. So who is your 16?
I had Jamal
Oh,
at
you
16,
Jamal Murray.
and
Okay.
then Maxey at 15. Yeah.
Maxi 15. All right, cool. So it was still pretty close, besides the Kawhi one.
Yeah.
17, I had, this is a grandfather didn't pick, but I had Anthony Davis
Ooh.
because I thought that just his impact on the floor defensively and he's just like when he steps on the court for the Mavs, he's like hope exemplified. And obviously now he's injured, so it's really hard to rank him at this point. But even when he was healthy, he just made a difference for them. And yeah, I mean, averaging still 20, 11, uh, great defensive presence when active, almost 2 blocks per game. And maybe it's partially grandfathering him in, but yeah, that's had to give him that kudos to be. I still consider him to be like he could be the second best player in the championship team.
Fair enough. I think he could be, but I have him a lot lower. I think the injuries are, and also, frankly, this season, even when he's been healthy, the Mavs have been a sub 500 team, if I remember correctly. And that's kind of my problem
Mm.
with him. In terms of level of, if in the right situation, could he be the second best player? I think so. But more than ever, I have worries that he might be limited, both injury wise and maybe, scoring wise. Actually, that's kind of actually both offensively and defensively. I've been a little bit worried about him, to be honest. So I have him actually a good amount lower, but I do
Mm.
think the ceiling that you're describing here is completely understandable.
Yeah.
Um, uh, s- so I had 17 Jalen Johnson, you had 17 Anthony Davis, 18th. I have a fun one. I
Mm.
have LeBron James.
I have him 18th.
Okay, perfect. I don't think there's much to be said. I think, the high end of talents, the great, he's definitely taken a step back both offensively, defensively. It's kind of undebatable. But when he's healthy, he's still, remnants of LeBron James. And, he could put up 40 in a playoff game and he could get 5 steals in a playoff game, actually, at this point. It's been kind of interesting to see him with Luca and Reeves, especially beginning of the season. That was like fun. Excited to see that back healthy when Reeves is back. And yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could rank him substantially higher than this, but I think it deserves to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. And 22, 5 and 7 on the year since the new year started. He must have flown to Germany and came back, and he's feeling good, averaging like 26, 8 and 8. Um, I think it just takes him a little bit longer. He's like an old car that takes a while to heat up and get going.
It's a good
But
comp, honestly.
that's yeah, LeBron James, the old car. Um, but he still looks great, and at any point in time can be the best player in the court. So
Yeah.
he stays in this tier.
19th, I think I have one that is going to be a little spicy. Can I
All
hop in
right.
here?
All
De'Aaron
right.
Fox. Um,
Okay.
and I think
De'Aaron
this is a little
Fox.
spicy, but I think he's been extremely good this year. I don't think he's the level as he was when he was like a top 10 MVP guy for the Kings a few years ago.
Mhm.
But the stretch that he had leading the Spurs while Wemby is out in the stretches that he has had has been quite impressive. I mean, they've been better than 500. That was kind of like why, like, for example, I would put him over an AD type guys. I think right now he could lead the line better than an AD type guy.
Mhm.
And frankly, next to Wemby, I think he's looked really impressive. I never really imagined De'Aaron Fox being that good as a second tier option because he's so ball dominant. But honestly, he's not that ball dominant, and his defense has been really impressive. Like early in his career, De'Aaron Fox was like the speedster defensive guy flying around. And I think he gets to tap into that mentality alongside, Castle and Harper. But I've been really impressed by him. His 3-point shooting has been quite good. I also think that helps to have Wemby kicking the ball out to you. Um, but yeah, I think I have him this high. Again, a guy where I think this is about as high as you can rank him. I don't think the ceiling is that high, and I wonder if he could I wonder if this is who he is rather than like the ability to take a step up. I mean, he's 28 years old, but I've been very impressed with him, to be honest.
I think he is impressive. I have him in the next tier. So this is a big, uh, disbursement or whatever you want to say for him. This is where I have Devin Booker at 19. But I do think that Fox has been unreal. And he fits in seamlessly with Wemby, and he does really well with the young guards. So
Mm,
will he get better? Who's to say? But this is the most talented guy he's ever played with. So
yeah,
he could. I mean, in theory, if the Spurs win a chip, he can be the second best player on the team. So he could be in that category.
yeah, and also I think he would deserve it. I mean, I think he's having a better season than the J Dubs of the world, who we'll get to, but who is just the second best player on a championship team.
Right.
So I think it's totally plausible. I mean, 20th I have Towns.
Whoa, dude, we're like locked
We're
in
locked
right
in. Okay,
now.
that's
Yeah.
kind of why I threw it out there. I think Towns is like a great, his ceiling's not that high. His floor is not that low because he's a sniper. And honestly, at this
Mhm.
point, his defensive rebounding isn't that bad. But the ceiling isn't that high. He's not changing the game he's not a game breaker in any way. But
Mhm.
every night he's going to give you great spacing. He's going to give you 24 and you can really count on him to be like in a playoff series, you can count on him in a 7 game series have 3 good games.
Mhm.
And like another guy could be the second best player on championship team, but not the high end of it for me. For me, like
Totally.
a Devin Booker guy, like even in a bad game, you'll feel his imprints on the game. Towns, those are the moments where it's like, you're closer to Chris Middleton on the Bucks than you are to like you could lead the line on your own team.
Right. In center form, I got you.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I think everything that you're saying is totally on the ball. 21 and 11, second in the league in rebounds this year. Has gone become a really good rebounder.
Mhm.
Um, and I think also very sneaky durable, like consistently healthy.
And he
Um,
deserves hella credit for that, to be
yeah,
honest.
yeah,
Harder than ever
yeah,
to be durable in the NBA.
totally. Yeah, top five center in the league for sure. I think. Do we have five centers ahead of him?
No.
No, we don't. If we have Sengun, Wemby, and Jokic, yeah. So there we go. Top four center in the league.
Yeah.
A great offensive player, and not terrible on defense. He's a big body, but maybe people attack him.
And I
Um,
think for me, that's the end of like a tier of like the upper end of second options. Like, I think
mhm,
there are other guys you could mathematically win the chip with as your second
yeah.
option that I think we'll get to. But for me, these are the guys like if I had a star, these are who I would want, to surround. Like
Hmm.
if I can't get another star to surround my star, here are the guys I would want. It would be, Devin Booker, Towns. For me, Fox, it would be LeBron James, Max, etc. So that's kind of the way I thought about it.
Right. No, that's fair. I have one more guy in this like tier for 21. I'm curious this I'm wondering if this is going to be a pivot, but I have James Harden.
Oh, that's a great pick. I don't have him 21,
Okay.
but I have him pretty like I had him a high where higher than I expected.
Okay, yeah. But 25 25 5 27 26 5 and 8
Unbelievable.
this year. So just continuing to be a great player and this not the best efficiency shooting wise, but with Kawhi having, come back and taken over, I think he's been a great second man in that role. And yeah, obviously we saw how good what the Clippers were when he was like the only guy keeping them afloat. And to be fair, they don't have a great supporting cast. They're dealing with a whole bunch of issues that we'll find out more as the season progresses, I'm sure. But yeah, he's still, in my mind, a top, second best guy on a championship team level guy.
Yeah, I think regular season wise, this is where I would put him. I just have hesitations about his playoff performances, but this
Yeah.
year he deserves tons of respect for this level of regular season performance. I mean, last year he was third team All NBA, and I think he's having a better season than he did last year. I don't know if I would put him on my third team All NBA given the performances of some other players, but it is hard
Mhm.
to debate that he's not having a better season than he had last year. So yeah, I think he's having a great season. I think he has some limitations alongside with the playoff performances, which is why I would put him in my second tier of like secondary guys. Like if I was like, oh, like, I have Nikola Jokic like in a snap, like personally, I'd
Right.
probably rather surround Nikola Jokic with De'Aaron Fox rather than James Harden. That's just where I differ. But I do think James Harden deserves tons of credits for his performances, and it's just like it's really impressive what he's doing this year. I actually have him higher than Kawhi, which we'll get to. So,
Hmm. Yeah, interesting.
mhm.
Um,
21 for me. I can give you my 21
wait,
this
20. Wait. Oh, yeah, yeah. Who's your 21?
because you had 21 for
Yeah,
Harden,
for
right?
Harden. Yeah.
So this is my next tier. This is my secondary, secondary guys.
Yeah.
Evan Mobley leads off this tier for me. I
Okay.
think
Yeah.
I imagine you have him 22 by the way you're talking. Um,
I have Murray, but yeah.
Oh yeah. So in that realm. Okay, so Mobley hasn't been substantially better or anything like that, but maybe it's just me watching him and understanding the impact that he has on the game more, but both defensively and offensively, frankly, he's better than what meets the eye statistically. And I think if you just go off his stats, like, there's the Twitter meme of like Mr. 18 and 8. I don't know if you've
Hmm.
seen that meme,
Yeah, yeah.
but this is also a guy who's averaging like 4 assists a game. That's not like a Mitchell Robinson center type guy. That's like a
Right.
guy who is involved in an offense. There's also a guy who shoots 4 threes a game at this point in his career more than ever. But more than ever in his career. So providing some sort of spacing on a team who has struggled in the small forward slot, a team that's struggled to create spacing when they have Jared Allen and Mobley on the court. So I actually think Mobley's been a really great problem solver. And the more I watch this team, the more I come away very impressed with him. His ceiling is not as high as I once thought it was and could be, but he is still relatively young. I mean, he's only 24. Um, but although he'll never be like the Hakeem type player that I hoped he would be with like the footwork that he has and the defensive upside he has, you know, he's going to be a upper echelon center for a long time, especially because he can flow within an offense. And he's playing power
Hmm.
forward. He's
Hmm.
playing power forward.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I had Jamal Murray at 22 and he rounded it out, and then starting the next tier is Evan Mobley. Consistent, reliable, you know what you're gonna get from him. he is a guy that I feel like, if he gets to 28 years old, maybe he stops relying on his athleticism as much and he does take another step and maybe he does get to that next tier. Um, but yeah, I echo
So
everything you're saying.
so you had 20th Towns, 21 Murray, 22.
Harden,
Oh,
21 Harden, 22 Murray,
and then
23
23
Mobley.
Mobley. Okay, and
Yeah.
then 20 for me, 22 and 23, I had the Thunder guys. I had J-Dub and Chet.
Okay.
J-Dub's take a little bit of step back for me, or else I would have
Hmm.
ranked him way higher. I mean, he's looked the part throughout his career. It's just this season, I'm like, ugh. Like, is your wrist okay, bro? And Chet honestly has been really impressive. I still think he has room to grow, but I don't have a ton of negatives. It's just like it's kind of tough because they aren't like raising their ceilings very. They aren't like performing substantially better than they were last year, and the Thunder team is not necessarily meeting some of the expectations they almost set for themselves by being so good. You know.
Hmm. Yeah. I have them both a little bit further down in the next, both of them in this next tier that we'll talk about.
Mhm.
But I'm with you in terms of J-Dub not living up quite to how good he was in the playoffs, and I'm sure he'll continue to get better.
Yeah.
Um, and
24.
Chet,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
Chet,
sorry.
yeah. No, just Chet. We'll talk more about him in a second, but I'm curious who you have at 24.
I have Siakam.
Siakam, okay.
I think I don't. I'm kind of throwing the season out the window, and honestly, this season in spurts, he's been pretty impressive. Was really impressed with him last year. I think he's a qualified secondary option. I think there's
Yeah,
better guys, as a big, as a wing. There are better guys. We've talked about better guys. I'd rather have J-Dub, for example, or Chet. But I do think he is a problem solver. He can fit in a lot of teams. Very consistent player, playoffs and regular season, and I give a lot of credit for that. Also, quite durable. So, yeah.
yeah. I have him at 29, so he's right in this area.
Oh, you're gonna have Denny up here, huh? Nah, I'm not
I
have Denny.
actually
I
I
don't
do
have
have
Denny.
Denny. I have Denny right now.
That's what I
Um,
thought.
yeah, got young Denniside up here. Denny Avdia. I'm looking past, any reservations I have towards Portland, Oregon, and shouting out to they're on a 5 game winning streak. Denny Avdia and the Trailblazers. And in his last 10 games, he's averaging 28 points per game, 7 boards, 8 assists, shooting the ball okay, but still just taking over. I mean, even in his last few games, 34, 29, 33, 41. And then, back to back wins against the Rockets. And they beat the Spurs. So they're just crushing it. They are kind of right where we talked about, like they could be a playoff team, 19 and 20. Um, and he's been awesome. He's been a revelation.
And to be clear, if this is who he is, if this regular season Denny is who he is in the playoffs, he will be way higher on both of our lists.
Yeah.
Like if he's putting up 26, 7 and 7 on this level of shooting, on this level of free throw percentages, etc., free throw rate, sorry, that he will be way higher. I just need to see this level of talent in the playoffs. He's never played a playoff game. But I have him, we'll get to it later, but I have him 26. So you have him
Yeah. All
24, I
right.
have
So
26.
yeah, right
Same
there.
breath. And frankly, I'm on this ranking is just basically me saying I just need to see it in the playoffs because, statistically he's substantially better than all these guys in this tier. But Siakam just showed me that he could be the second best player on a team that made the finals last year. And
Right.
so I'm already giving him the credit of, you're in the same breath as that.
Yeah.
But if he's this good in the playoffs, he's better than Siakam, for example. So
Hmm. Yeah. 100%. Um, for 25, I have J-Dub. So
okay.
yeah,
We went
based
over
on
him.
things you've said. Yeah. So he's just a couple spots away, and I think he could totally be higher up. Um,
I'd mark it
and
in 20
marking in. Okay.
above Denny, actually.
Marking in. Okay.
Uh
Yeah.
I think that might be substantially higher than other people might rank him, but I think this year he's been unplayable. I mean, 28 points per game. Yeah, he's unbelievable. They literally have to put Nurkic on this like day-to-day diet because Nurkic has been pretty good. So they can only
Hmm.
play Nurkic like every other day because Laurie's been too good. It's
Yeah.
like fuck, we gotta tank. Um, that's also I'm not making that up. Like if you go see
Yeah.
like Nurkic's games, yeah, like I'm not making that up.
Yeah.
But Laurie's been unplayable. I mean, he's shooting like 50% from the field. That was his one thing that he struggled with last year, like severely. I mean, he struggled with a lot of things, but he shot like 40% from the field. He's shooting like 50% from the field now. He's shooting like 20, he's 28 points per game. Um, I don't remember what his efficiency from three is like, but I imagine it remains quite good. Um,
He can shoot.
Actually, I think the Jazz have been, pretty impressive. Him and Keontae have been fun to watch, and I think Laurie, I'm more convinced than ever that in a different situation, he could be a major problem solver for teams, both as like a perimeter scoring option, but also like as a true power forward. I mean, he can finish. I've been impressed with his finishing at the rim. Him and Denny, like if him and Denny could be these players that they are in the regular season currently in the playoffs, they would be substantially higher for me.
Totally.
So
Yeah.
those two guys for me are very comparable. I just think Markkanen's been doing it for a little longer.
Hmm.
That's about it.
Yeah. They got to trade him. He's at the peak of his trading.
He's
His
unbelievable.
stock is so
Do you
high.
see how big he is? I don't know if you watched the Jazz games.
He's
He
like
is
he's
huge.
like
Like
6'11".
yeah, and he's jacked. Like he really has like the muscle type, like different. But like true, like everyone does the comp of like, oh, it'd be great if he got muscular like Giannis, but he actually has like the definition.
Yeah, I'm with you. You actually talked me into bringing him higher up than I had him. So good stuff. Um, I at 26, I have Austin Reeves, who you talked me into putting back on the team, just because he has shown that he could be the best player on the court on on any given night, to be honest. But when he was healthy, averaging 27, 5, and 6, just putting up 40 bombs left and right. So obviously, still got to think about the defense. That's a huge liability, and we'll see what happens when he gets healthy again. But he absolutely looks the part.
So you have him 26. I have him 28th.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
I feel the same way. Looks the part, and the level of offensive creation is like not something I was expecting from him.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
so you 25th had Denny, if I remember correctly.
24 Denny, 25 J-Dub, 26 Austin Reeves.
Okay, 26. I had 24 Siakam, 25 Markkanen, 26 Denny. 27, I have Scotty Barnes ahead of Austin Reeves at 28. Scotty Barnes has
Mm,
been really, really good defensively and
hmm.
as good of a offensive player he has been, the level defensively that he's taken makes me want to give him the credit and put him here. He's another guy where I couldn't rank him that much higher than this, though. The
Hmm.
ceiling offensively and frankly defensively is not there in comparison to some of these other guys, but I think he's a major problem solver on the court, which is hard for me to grade. I don't know if he could be the second best player on a team right now, but he solves so many problems that I kind of put him in this realm. So
Hmm.
yeah.
I'm with you. I'm 33rd for
Mhm.
similar concerns that you have, but the Raptors have actually been pretty good. They've maintained winning
Is
in
that a tier for
what
you?
used to be.
I have a 21 to 33 tier of kind of these. You're my secondary options, but I also give a good amount of leeway. Like there's some guys from the like I would have probably done a stop after Denny. I probably would have done a 20 to 26 and a 27 to
Mm.
33. But
Yeah, I have a 23 to 36, so it's pretty close.
okay,
Yeah.
somewhere, yeah.
Um,
Um,
so, and he's in that. I actually, instead of, I have Jimmy Butler at 27.
all right, I have him
So,
this year. I have him 33rd just because the recent
mm,
struggles, but I'm with
there we
that.
go.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm with
flipping it.
that. I think the offensive ceiling is there. The playoffs, he's going to perform, and his
Yeah.
game type is really good for the playoffs. And he's honestly been pretty healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. He's been healthy. Think there are times where he could, be a little bit more aggressive, but, yeah,
Actually, you
25
talked
and
to me
5.
into you actually talked to me into like leaping him on this rank, or actually, maybe I'll go back. You maybe talked me into knocking down Scotty Barnes because I have
Mm,
other guys of like Scotty Barnes realms in this tier that are lower in this tier, but yeah. So you had him 27th. I had
I have
Scotty Barnes
27.
27th. I had Austin
Yeah.
Reeves 28th. Who'd you have
Mm.
28th?
We might disagree with this, but I have Julius Randle, dubious
Oh.
handle himself. 22, 7, and 6. I think that there have been games where he's been pretty unreal. And I think Julius Randle to me feels like he's an every other year kind of guy. And I feel like we're in the every other year situation for him. But he's putting up good numbers on pretty solid efficiency. He's a great playmaker. Um, and yeah, second best player on a good Timberwolves team. So yeah.
I think his performances have been really good, to be fair to him, but I do have him in the tier under just because I think he has like extensive limitations. Like I'm not sure how high your ceiling can really be unless you perfectly team build around him because he's like quite ball dominant and like, wants to be on the perimeter a lot for a power forward. I do think it works for the T Wolves, actually. Like I do think it's a good situation for him, but that's just why I have him in the tier under. But I think he's been quite good this season.
Yeah,
Um,
that's fair.
my 20, so that was your 27th. That was your
That's my
28th.
28. Yeah.
So my 28th, Austin Reeves. My next two, 29 and 30, are Harden and Kawhi. We've gone
Okay.
over them. Think they've been really impressive. Kawhi, again, the only reason I have him this low is injuries. I'm out on that situation. I need him to prove it to me. But if he was available in a trade, I'd go get him. Seeing that I have him top 30. The issue is I can't put a team in his hands. I would never feel comfortable putting a team in his hands. I would feel less comfortable putting a team in Kawhi's hands at this point than James Harden's.
Mm.
Or
Yeah, it's
relying on them. Or
yeah,
relying on him at all. So that's the only reason I have him here, lower than Harden, because he is a better player than Harden.
yeah. And that's understandable. Again, I'm kind of thinking about it like plug him into a 7 game series at the way he's playing.
Fair enough.
Um, but I have at 29, I have Siakam for the reasons that you brought up, and yeah, the Pacers just even the healthy players can't stay healthy on this team, so it's just unfortunate. Crazy turnaround too, from very close to winning a championship to the worst team statistically in the league.
And to be fair,
It's
I mean,
wild.
I think they have been, you know, not pushing their players to return too quickly from
Oh
their
yeah.
injuries.
They're better than what their roster talent says, but just in a complete utter like they're playing below the talent level that they have, which
That's
is
kind of why
wild.
I'm giving Siakam the wash, and I ranked him higher. But yeah,
Hmm.
that's kind of why that
Yeah.
was I was kind of like, I'm throwing this season out.
Yeah. I think he's always in this tier. Then I have Laurie, who you kind of convinced me to bump up at 30, and then at 31, I have Chet, just because I still think he's a great player. I think he has some areas where he can continue to take over. I think he needs to bulk up a little bit more, but great defensive instincts, pretty serviceable shooter,
Yeah,
and top 3 player in a chip team.
fair enough. Yeah, I give him a little bit of benefit of the doubt. I still think he's like quite a good player. And I mean, you ranked him top 31, right? So we're not like
Yeah.
that far off. These are like, although we have them 8 slots away, like we're still view these guys as qualified secondary scorers or
Yeah.
secondary options. So the only guy that you have ranked that I haven't ranked yet is Randall. And to be honest, I
Mm.
won't rank Randall for another like 5 or so slots. The guy
Okay.
31st that I have is Paolo.
Oh, I have
And
32nd.
okay, you have 32nd. This was tough. I
Yeah.
think this is kind of where he has to slot in, maybe a few slots lower, but he has not shown
Hmm.
me anything over the last few years that would make me rank him higher. He should be higher. I almost had him in the top 15 at one point, based off
Yep.
amazing playoff performances against the Cavs, but he's regressed. He's literally regressed.
Yeah. I'm with you. I think we both had the Magic as like the top 3 team in the East to start the year, and they have not been that. He is averaging 21, 9, and 5. So on paper, pretty good stats.
But it's not
But
for Paolo. I mean, last year he averaged like 27, like,
right.
right? So
Yeah.
if I remember
Yeah.
correctly,
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, look, over the last 5 games, they've played Chicago, Indiana, Washington, Brooklyn, and Philly. They've won 2 of those games, one against who we just talked about, the worst team in the league, Indiana, and the other one, Brooklyn, who they almost blew a massive lead to, but they won in overtime. And then they lost to Philly, Washington, and in Chicago. So,
and honestly, I think he, frankly, plays a major part in this regression. I think he's having the worst season he's had since his rookie year.
yeah.
So I think he plays no part in this a small part in this regression. If they were a top 3 seed, I'd give him the benefit of the doubt and probably rank
Hmm.
him top 25 as a ball dominant
Hmm.
scorer on a top 3 seed. But this is what you get when you put up the season like that. And it sucks. I'm a big fan of his gameplay. Like very big fan of his game style. Just at this point, it's too many mid ranges, man. It's too many mid ranges, not enough efficiency. It's not enough game flow for a team that should be operating at higher speeds. Like
Hmm.
that's a team that's athletic, Suggs, Black, Bane, Franz. They should be running way higher. And honestly, a lot of their limitations in terms of pacing has to do with Paolo. So
Yeah.
sorry, that's my little spiel about it.
No, I'm with you. He,
So you
he,
had
we're all waiting for a step. He's 32.
and I had Amen Thompson 32.
I have him at Thompson 35.
Oh, okay. So we're still in the same realms here. Oh, and I still haven't ranked Anthony Davis, actually. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah,
That's
that's
actually
one guy.
that's an important one.
Yeah.
A men problem solver. A lot of the same things you could say about Scotty Barnes. I think here defensive upside still very high. He's shown me a level of playmaking that is a little bit better than last year. Maybe not levels that I hoped for, but yeah,
hmm
don't have much to say. He's great.
I'm with you. This is maybe a crazy shot, but I actually so I have Scotty Barnes 33 and then 34. I actually have Cooper Flag. And maybe this
Ooh.
is projecting how good he could become, a little bit more than how good he has been. But I think with the lack of talent on the Mavericks, averaging 19, 6 and 4, he's had some like really good games, just individual games. Um, Looking at his game log recently, yeah, I mean he's still like up and down, but he has had games where he scored in the last month like 40 points, 30 points, um, mid to high 20s. The new year has not been great for this argument to have him here, but I think by the end of the year, I don't think I'd like look bad at where I've had him ranked and be too disappointed. But 19, 4 and 4 this year. I think all the pressure's on him to help this team that has dealt with a ton of injuries and just a lack of help.
Yeah, I have him on as an honorable mention, but I think it's fair.
Mm,
I Mavs have been so bad, and I've never seen him in playoff realm, and still his skills. I don't know if they're ready enough yet to contribute in a playoff circumstance compared to another rookie that I actually have ranked. Um,
do you
but
have him ranked here or just
no,
you have
not
him
I
ranked?
have him
Okay.
ranked later. I do have another rookie ranked later. But yeah, that's why I have him as honorable mention. But I'm with it. If you perceive his skills that he's showing to be playoff ready, then he should be this high because he's I still think he should be rookie of the year, actually, even though I might have a guy higher than him in our ranking, which is weird.
It's been a great rookie class.
Yeah, it's been but so I have Kawhi 30th, like I said, Paolo 31st, and then 32. I have Jimmy Butler 33. I have
Mm,
Anthony Davis 35, so 34th. I
okay.
actually have Franz Wagner. Um,
Okay.
yeah, he actually I think deserves a lot of credit. He's looked really good this year in spurts despite injuries. And I think more than ever, I'm inclined to give him credit for Magic performances, even in the last few years, seeing the way Paolo seeing the downsides of Paolo almost makes me want to give Franz credit because I'm like, damn,
hmm
like you have to you're not trying to play at this pacing. You're trying to play faster. Although you are like a lankier athletic wing who can't shoot, you are still trying to play with faster pacing and you do try to shoot and he plays good defense. So actually I really like Franz. He's also a problem solver like the Scotty Barneses of the world, but in a different way, even though he can't shoot. It's kind of weird. Definitely more of a scorer than those
hmm
guys, but I think he's like in a similar vein as those guys. Definitely not. He's not a Kawhi or James Harden. He's closer to Scotty Barnes than Thompson in a weird way for me. That's kind of the way I term it.
Yeah, I hear that. I have him ranked way lower, and I think I just didn't give him the respect he might deserve. But he is arguably a better player than Powell's been this year.
And to be fair, this is also about as high as I would rank him. I'm choosing to give him a good amount of
Yeah.
credit here, but yeah, and so will say I would still prefer to have Franz over Anthony Davis, but the injury concerns I have about Anthony Davis are not limited to Anthony Davis. They apply to Franz too.
They sure do.
Yeah, so yeah, that is one thing that I'm thinking about. I do think it's about as high as you rank him. So Franz 34, Anthony Davis 35 for me. You had Cooper Flag 35,
34. Amen,
34.
35.
35. Okay. And then,
And
yeah.
yeah. This round for me, this rounds out this tier. But I Fox.
So for me, Jimmy Butler rounded out a tier for
Mm,
me. And now I have like my, tertiary,
yeah,
if you're my second option, I'm not anticipating I'm winning a shit. This
sure.
kind of the way I'm.
Valid. Wait, so who do you have at 36?
So I had 34 Franz, the start of the tier, 34 Franz, 35 AD, 36 Aaron Gordon.
Aaron Gordon. Okay.
Yeah.
He is on my honorable mentions because he didn't play enough
And I
list.
think that's fair. I'm giving a lot of
Yeah.
credit
Yeah.
for past
Uh,
performances.
Totally. And I can't even argue with you on that. I mean, he's had some great games, especially at the start of the year.
He's one of these guys in this tier that I think is hard to debate that he could win you games. Like he can flat out win you a few games in the playoffs, and I'm not sure a few other guys that I have in this tier, I'm not sure if they could outright win you a game.
Right. No, totally. Well, to close this out, I do De'Aaron Fox
Okay.
for the exact reasons that you've mentioned. Just on the flip side, where is this a ceiling? But I could see him win a game or two in the playoffs if need be.
Yeah, and I think also, like I said with Derek Fox, that was about as high as you could rank him. I mean, he's in the perfect situation for a
Mhm.
guy in his skills. Not that we expected that necessarily to be the perfect situation, but it has ended up being a very perfect situation.
Oh,
So that
100%.
rounded out your tier.
Yeah,
Okay, I feel like we could go pretty fast then, because this is
yeah.
kind of, I don't know about you, I didn't tier out the rest of this list.
Yeah. I didn't either. This is just the
Okay,
rest.
so 36 for me. This is 36 for you, Zay?
You're gonna say you're 36. I just said my 36.
Oh, and I said Aaron Gordon for 36 actually, so my
Okay.
bad. Okay, now I got Jalen Duren 37th.
Oh, I have Derek White.
Oh, okay. I have Derek White in this realm too. I'm 41st. I think
Okay.
I think White has been proven more, but I'm kind of enamored with what Duran brings as like an athletic center. And I'm curious to see that even with another jump in these playoffs. And so
hmm
I'm giving him the credit of like y'all the first seed in the East, and you've been a big contributor to that.
I like it. Derek White, this is past playoff performance. This is his shooting finally coming back. This is his blockability as a shorter guard.
Fits with any
Uh,
team,
Fits with any
literally any.
team, all that good stuff. But I do have Jalen Duren 38th.
Yeah.
So to your point, his offensive game has expanded. Finally getting like rebounds more consistently, 18 and 11 this year. Probably an all-star in the East. So
And so 38th is where I had Rand.
Randall, okay.
So that's kind of where I was like, all right, like I think you'll win me a game or two, but I think if you're my second option, I don't know if I can anticipate that I'm gonna be a contender. But also, he is the second option on a team that's a contender, so um, there is that. 38th, you had Jalen Duren. 39th,
Yeah.
I have Bam. 40th, I have OG, and then 41st, I have Derek White. If that, and I think all
Okay.
those guys kind of deserve to be in the same realm. Bam, I'm also giving you a little bit of credit despite a bad season. I
Yeah.
mean, Khalil Ware is kind of snatching his chain, but I do think that that's like a weird fit, and he's like a true center. I think we've kind of realized that, especially in the attempts to play him power forward, that Bam is a true center, and I still think he can be a good center,
Mhm.
serviceable. Does not have the ceiling of Jalen Duren, but I still think he's quite good.
Yeah.
It's definitely a tough year to defend Bam, and I think this is also about as high as you can put him. But
Yeah, he fell for me. But 39, I actually have a different Heat player. I have
Norm?
welcome to the middle of your career renaissance, Norman Powell, who started with that last year on the Clippers, but 24 points per game, incredible three-point shooter, high in fantasy, and I've loved his just reliability as a scorer, and I think he's just helped elevate the floor of this team. So I have him at 39.
And I have him 44th, but he's in this breath. You could put
Yeah.
him ahead of Bam. I just think Bam's defense is really impactful. But if you told me Norm's scoring like of 26 a game, whatever he's scoring a good efficiency is more impactful than that, I'm not going to
Mhm.
argue. Like I think it's pretty unbelievable what he's doing.
Totally.
Um,
So that's
so
my 39.
and then 40th, I had OG. Like I said, I think
OG.
problem solver could win.
Yeah.
I don't know if he could win you a game, but he's going to plug in and play great defense, score the ball well.
I have him at 43rd. I don't know if, yeah, to your point, he feels similar to Jalen Duren. I don't think either of those guys are winning a game, but they're keeping a team in a game just with all the little things that they
Yeah.
do.
And then
Um,
every single like there's a level of consistency there that deserves respect. Yeah.
right. For my 40th, I have Michael Porter Jr., who has completely turned around his narrative on the Nets, shooting super efficiently, and I hope he gets traded to a good team
I have him
so that the Nets
49th.
can
I have
tank.
him
Okay.
I have him 49th just because I'm traumatized from like Cam Johnson looking amazing and then getting traded and looking mid. But if
Yeah.
we're just basing it off this season, he's been unbelievable. He should get traded, play for a playoff team because I want to see if this is real. Like this, he's like amazing. He moves really well off ball. I've always thought that, but more than ever, he looks a little bit more fluid. Like the injuries have always looked like a bad thing, and
hmm
they are a bad thing. But like, they haven't taken the toll that I thought they did.
Yeah. And maybe he's had to learn how to play better with these injuries.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't know if you know he plays with like a drop foot like
yeah.
contraption on his left foot. Yeah, you've seen that.
Oh, I was thinking of how he shoots it, but
His like leg has like drop foot from all the surgeries, and he has like
wow.
this arthritis thing that he uses that 80-year-olds use to like fix drop foot, and he just plays in it.
Wow.
And
Elite.
it's like very impressive. If you ever see like a string running down the side or like a piece of a plastic running down the side of his sock, that's what that is.
That's unreal.
Yeah.
I have not seen that though. That's pretty sick.
It is very sick. It's some random Berkeley kids hit him, or like some random college kids who were doing like science research, like hit him up and pitched him the idea, and he did it, and it worked
Hell
actually.
yeah.
So
That's how,
in a very Michael Porter story.
yeah.
He took
The most.
medical advice from a guy emailing him. So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, I respect that. 41st, I had Derek White. 42nd, I
nice.
had Trey Young.
Okay.
Um,
Um,
that's tough.
yeah.
It's kind of one of those
It's
where
a legacy.
yeah, legacy and if he plays well, it could be substantially higher than this. If he's playing poorly, his deficiencies are so bad he shouldn't be a top 50 player. But if yeah, the-
Yeah.
it- this season I would not rank him as a top 50 player. If you told me right now I need to add a player to my team, I probably would rank him as a top 50 guy that I would want to add to my team, if that makes
Yeah.
any sense.
He's just got to figure out the 3-point shooting. It's gone down pretty precipitously over the last few years, but
I agree.
he's grandfathered in.
I agree, and actually, I think that's the reason he struggled. I think he's not that bad defensively at this point. Like he's obviously very poor defensively, but I don't
Yeah.
think he's like the horrible, unplayable defender he once was. He almost
Mhm.
just shoots too much for the efficiency that he provides. Like if he literally just shot less, he'd be really, really good.
Yeah, yeah. I think you can kind of tell like how the game's going to flow with him. And 2-8 with on help with when healthy with the Hawks.
Yeah,
So fresh start. We talked about him. I have him at 49, so I do him in the top 10, but
yeah,
top 50.
and
My Oh yeah. Well, was that your 40?
that was my so I have 40 OG, 41 Derek White, 42 Trae Young, 43 Norm.
Okay. So my 41 is actually Josh Giddey. Even though he's been hurt, I think putting up really, really great numbers, almost triple double, kind of facilitating that team. I almost had him considering just like as an honorable or a non in it, just because he's been hurt so much. But I was really impressed with how he started the year.
Yeah, those guys are tough to rank because he's like clearly qualified and is playing well as like the number one option on a team. I just don't know as like a second or third option if that's the type of guy I want.
Yeah, how he would play.
Yeah, and even as a first option, it's not like he's like a top 15 first option in the NBA. So,
Right, right.
but it's like a
Um,
weird ranking. I had him 50th actually. So,
okay, so pretty close.
or yeah, I had him 50th.
My 42nd, actually, it's Stephon Castle.
Ooh,
Uh,
I had him
Um,
47th. I like
okay,
him.
oh, pretty close.
I like him.
But yeah, like what, 17 and 8, 18 and 8 assists. Um, yeah, he's just taken the mantle, and even with Wemby having been hurt, I think he's just said like, watch this. I got us, and has helped man the ship for a great Spurs team. So gotta give him his kudos. So
I,
I'm 42nd.
I'm with that. I have nothing to add. I totally agree.
Or,
I have
40.
47th, but he's really good.
Who'd you have at 43?
43 is where I had Norm, and then
Norm. Okay.
44 is where I have Desmond Bain. And
Oh, we linked in again.
oh, we're
Yeah.
back. Let's go. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I think Desmond Bain is really fantastic. More than ever, I'm convinced that like his shooting is just like, oh, you can just plug and play anywhere. The Magic anticipated that that would fix all of their problems, and it hasn't. But his performance has been very good,
Mhm.
and yeah, he's so consistent. It's unbelievable. I almost want to rank him higher. The thing is, if he's your second option, you probably wouldn't win a chip. But if he's your third option, you're feeling great because you're just like, oh, I can plug you in. You're gonna shoot 10 threes a game. You're gonna make four of them, and you're gonna check in with 20 points in a game, and you could take the ball up. Like that's another thing that he's added to the game that he couldn't do before. But he can physically take the ball up. You don't want him to every time down, but it can happen. Yeah.
They can.
So
Um, yeah, I agree with you. We know who he is, and he could win a game in the playoffs. So I think he's perfect at the spot.
And so that was 44. Sorry, I said I had Castle 47th before. I had 45th. So I have Castle 45th.
Oh, nice.
And so who do you have 45th? Sorry.
I actually have, and this is a bit of grandfathering, but I have Rudy Gobert.
Oh, out of my honorable mentions, like
Okay,
right off the list.
right off.
I
Yeah,
think it's fair. I think it's been pretty good.
yeah. He is who we think he is, just consistently. Stifle Tower. Good defense. Never expect him to take over a game on offense, but um, helping the Timberwolves stay afloat.
Yeah, and I ranked it out, so I had him like 54th, but I
Okay,
think that's like as low as you could get with him. Like I think he
sure.
just provides such a level of defensive stability and like honestly, like he's not the screen setting demon that he once was on the Jazz offensively, but I watch these other centers in the NBA, I'm like, y'all are bad offensively too, so
Yeah,
just give me Gobert.
yeah, exactly.
So
Um,
that was your
that's
46th?
45th.
Oh, 45th. And I had 46, I had Zubats.
Zubats is an honorable mention for me, but he
Okay.
could easily be in here. I have Franz.
Okay. And I'm giving Zubats a little credit for last year. I mean, this year has
Yeah,
not been a good season for him. I still think I'd probably want him then Gobert in a vacuum, but it is tough.
yeah.
Um,
Um,
and then you said you had Franz 46.
Franz 46th. And then
What
the
over
rest of
him?
my guys are all grandfathered in from the past.
Oh, okay. I had MPJ. I want to hear your
Okay.
guys, but let me run you through my guys really quick. MPJ 47th, you already had him ranked. I had McCall Bridges 48th, actually.
Okay. Oh, nice.
And I like him. I just consistent. He's good.
Hmm.
You know, not impressive, but you know, he's quite good still. And I actually had Constantinople 49th. I think
Wow.
right.
Okay.
It's weird. I think Cooper Flag is probably the rookie year. He's had more, you know, offensive burden on him. He's probably the better player than Constantinople. But if I had to go win a playoff series right now, yeah, give me the guy who's shooting 43% from three. I could just plug you in a shooting guard. Like I don't have to worry about you at all. Like, you know, and so um yeah, he's the level of shooting that he and scoring that he has demonstrated for me has been really convincing. I would still rather have Cooper Flag, right? Like, you know,
Hmm.
so
Who else do you have to round out your list?
and then Giddy
50.
50th. Who we
Giddy.
talking
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah. So I have Bam as 47, and just kind of like the start of the 2026 has not been great for him. Um, another deep grandfather, but Jaren Jackson Jr. has been playing a little bit better of late, so curious
I
to see if
had
he can
I had him
stay
in
in.
my honorable mentions too.
Right. Trey Young, 49th, for all the reasons we discussed. And then LaMelo Ball, again, another grandfather pick, just to see if he can stay relevant in this conversation. And then John Morant's my first honorable.
Oh, John Morant. I did not have him on my list, actually. Um, JJJ had honorable, Rudy had honorable, LaMelo had honorable.
Hmm.
The other three guys had honorable were Jalen Suggs. He's just been injured a little too much, but when he plays, I think his impact is really good. And
Hmm.
also, I can't give the magic four top 50 guys, you know, with the season that they're having. Um, and Trey Murphy remains in my
Trey
honorable
Murphy.
mentions.
Yeah.
Would love to see him on a good team.
Yeah.
Uh, and then McDaniels, Shane McDaniels. So.
Oh, nice.
Uh,
Um, that's very good. I had Keontae George as an honorable mention
that
guy.
was someone that I almost put in my honorable mentions
Um,
too. I was like,
yeah.
the,
Alex Sarr. I want to see if he can continue to get better, and
oh,
love him with the Wizards. And VJ Edgecombe. I think he can be the guy.
Sar and Edgecombe are both also guys I looked at. The consistency is just still not there for me there. And Keontae George actually has been very consistent this season, despite not, you know, we haven't seen him in playoff formats, but you know, his consistency has been really good. But those were also two guys I looked at. Sar being an honorable mention is electric. I love that.
Spice,
I love that.
spice.
I will
Gotta have a
say
little
he'll be there
spice.
sooner rather than later, and people are going to start seeing how good he is. I actually think he's incredibly impressive. He can play center now, which he couldn't like his rookie year. So I'm with that Sar pick, and I think his ceiling is really like, I mean, if he shoots 35% from three and gives you 2.5 blocks, isn't he just Chet Holmgren? Like,
Yeah, and hey,
so
maybe it could be better. We'll
yeah.
see.
All right, well, I guess that rounds out our 50. That
Whew.
was 2 hours of
Damn,
potting. Bet you
damn.
guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. You better enjoy it.
You
If
better enjoy it.
you don't
If
enjoy
you're
it,
like driving far or something like that, hope you listened to this. I hope you debated with it in your head, like, nah, this guy should be higher until you heard
yeah,
what
if
else
you're
I had
not
to
talking
say.
to yourself with the podcast, we got
Yeah,
problems.
what are you doing, bro? Like, figure your ish out. Um, cool, Max. Any other thoughts before we wrap up?
No, go Alex R, go Wizards, and we're not going to talk about the Warriors.
Don't need to talk about the Warriors, but NBA is really like we got football season to kind of wrap up this next month, and then we are in it. We got the All-Star, we got trade deadline, and then we're just going to cook towards the playoffs. And I cannot wait because the season is more and more starting to feel like it's up for grabs. It felt like it was a Thunder year, and now it's turning back into still probably Thunder, but more teams seem to have a shot.
Wemby year,
Wembus, young Wembus.
Wemby
Damn.
year.
Well, hey, folks, thank you for if you're driving, listening to this, making your food and listening to this, just sitting, watching this on YouTube for whatever reason. Cool. Uh, we love y'all, and we'll be back with you soon. Until then, we'll be spitting hoops as always.
Bye.